Zoloft to get your head right.
Hey, what's up, head right homies? Welcome to the Zoloft, your head right hangout. I am frog as all get out. It's a long story, but I need some tea. But I ain't drinking any tonight. You know, it's tea like work on this velvety smooth throat, which I'm not able to give a good example of right now because I ain't got my tea, man. I'm just doing some water tonight. I have my reasons for making this sacrifice. I shall not burden you or bore you with such details. But at any rate, I'm glad you're here in your sane space from the Global Rubber Room. And let's I don't know, give you guys something to laugh at as I try to make sense of this stuff that's going on in the news. Because I know, like I said, I know you didn't come here for the news. You're crazy if you did. I'm just here to talk about like the stuff that's going on. We're going to have a little conversation, man. That's all it is. And hopefully you'll find this dose of perspective from the Zoloft, interesting. And I hope that you guys will bring some interesting stuff to the table too, that we learn from each other. Learn from each other. Why we do our thing? Nah, gonna have a good time. Hey. That's a good way to get your frog out of your throat. Patooey. All right. So, I hope you guys' Monday is off to a groovy start. It gets better for you guys as we go through the week. And and I know that you guys are just all giddy and festive and just like you're just feeling pumped with all this positive, good energy because it's Black History Month. Not so much because it's Black History Month, but because it's a really short month that you have to endure this stuff. So, man, at least a month to go by fast. Man. I know that y'all ain't that. I know y'all ain't haters like that. You know, the thing about Black History Month is I don't care. But it's not that I don't care about Black History Month. I don't care what's been done to it. You know, look, man, I was raised in Black history culture, man. I lived in San Bernardino, California. My mom was Black History Queen 2 years in a row, right? Like big Black History Parade and all that sort of stuff, and and being able to sit at the table with Muhammad Ali, and it's like, yeah, I've had dinner with Muhammad Ali. He wasn't in his prime at the time, but but it's just to be able to wow, that's surreal. I was young. I don't know if I could really appreciate the moment at the time, but reflecting on it, it's like I could. But Black History Month, man, there was a need for it. Okay, what folks need to understand, because Black History Month is just one of those things that's scoffed at. Unfortunately by the right-wing voters now. It's just something that's scoffed at. They don't really care about what it is. And it's unfortunate, man, because they've been conditioned for that. It's not something that they just like innately didn't care about. It's just that Democrats have abused it and has made it something to have not much respect for. Democrats made it that way. And Democrats are the reason why there was the motivation to create Black History Month. So the reason why we have Black History Month is because there was institutions put in place by the Democrat Party that kept Black folks from enjoying the rights that, white folks did. These were laws that were put in place. Your Jim Crow laws and things like the Dred Scott decision and, anti-miscegenation laws, all these bigoted laws that Democrats put in place that were to keep, Black folks from, succeeding and, like I said, enjoying the American experience. But despite those things, you did have, Black people who did persevere and were still able to, make something of themselves despite the things that were imposed on them by the Democrat Party. That is why Black History Month was important. Unfortunately, by the time, the 80s were coming to a close, Black History Month didn't really mean what it meant anymore. It's after the Republicans won on restoring civil rights and voting rights to Black folks, which Democrats were pursuing to deny Black folks. After that, enjoy your freedom. Just go ahead and do it. Yeah. Don't use your freedom. It's like you can either be angry or you can be free. All right, you can't really be both. And y'all want to use your freedom to express how angry you are, and want to use every opportunity to say it's black folks this and black folks that, and we demand respect because we're black, and we're gonna it's like, no, you're not entitled to respect just because you're black. Okay, and we don't have to acknowledge anything. If you want to be a contributor to this whatever this occupation is or to society, then just go ahead and do it. If you really want to be respected for your nationality, then just don't demand to be respected for it. All right, is really a better way to go about it. But see, following the reinstating of the civil rights and the voting rights, for black folks, which Democrats took away twice. They did it in the 1860s and they did it in the 1960s. Democrats did it both times, right? But now it was more than just honoring black folks who persevered despite what Democrats were imposing on them and arresting their development, if you will. It was just we just want to be acknowledged for being black. Respect us, pay tribute because we're black. And that was just a total abuse of Black History Month. And it's not honoring of Black History Month. So in that regard, y'all, just to put it like that, Black History Month, for what it was made for, is something that, I respect. Despite what the Democrats, were pushing to do, you have black folks who still persevered, and were fruitful. So I'm about that. What has happened to Black History Month since then, I ain't with it. So anyway, there you go, y'all. And I hope and once again, and it's like, say for instance, also Juneteenth. Once again, Juneteenth has become something that Republicans don't care about. And they do themselves a disservice because they don't even try to set the record straight anymore. They don't even care, right? And like I said, the same thing is with Black History Month. The things that Republicans were fighting with, alongside with blacks to recover. Republicans were there fighting against what Democrats were trying to take away from black folks, and Republicans, they don't really care about that anymore. And because Democrats have gaslit them and have instigated so many things and using black folks to cause Republicans to resent black folks, not even realizing that. I mean, you do realize that it's the Democrat Party that's doing this, right? But they're using black folks as a front. And it's the same thing like with Juneteenth. Made Juneteenth something that Republican Party don't even care about, and Republican Party is the reason why we have Juneteenth.
Yeah.
Republican Party is like that Juneteenth was freed slaves honoring the Republican Party, honoring Lincoln, honoring the Union for fighting to make slavery illegal, coming into Texas and say, Democrats, we know that y'all don't want to obey. You're rebellious. You're rebellious. It's like when people talk about, the Emancipation Proclamation didn't even do anything, man. It didn't even come into, it didn't even come into places till way after, right? Well, why do you think that is? It ain't like Democrats are really, willing to play along.
Yeah.
They're rebellious. The Confederacy was the rebellion. They're rebellious. Of course they weren't gonna, honor the Emancipation Proclamation. Okay, so Lincoln had to send troops in there and say, look, man, you send them into Texas. Like, dude, no. Okay, and the slaves that were freed there were like, thank you. And Juneteenth was made to honor Republicans, honor the Union, honor Lincoln for fighting to make slavery illegal. All right, Republicans today, they don't care about that. They don't even care. They've let the Democrats just go ahead and just steer the way that they feel about it. Not just the way they think, but the way they feel about it, their whole perception on it. It's really something beneath them now. And it's really unfortunate. Like I see, who's that cat? Jamon Hansu, right? Mm-hmm. He's complaining about systemic racism. And right off the bat, man, the first response that I see from like right-leaning, I think the first time I saw the article's been, I guess it's been out since January. I didn't know. But I guess like there's this, on Instagram, there's this coffee company, Frontier Coffee Company. I guess they're supposed to be like super patriotic and right-wing and all that sort of stuff. And right off the bat, they're dismissing systemic racism. Oh, if you don't like it, then you just need to grow the F up. And they're just like foul mouthed. You know, this is supposed to be like a Christian conservative coffee company. And they're just full on foul mouth, all pride, dude. It's all pride with these people. And it's disgusting. It's disgusting to look at it. But I'm watching Frontier Coffee Company just come in and scoff at Jamon Hansu about systemic racism. Right? His response is, look, man, we got a problem with systemic racism. And I'm like, Frontier Coffee Company, you're the reasons why Republicans take such a beating in the culture. Now, look, Trump is doing some amazing things policy-wise. Okay, policy-wise, economics and stuff like that. But it's going to be the Republican voters, the MAGA voters, and even Trump himself, if he's not careful, that are going to cause them to lose this victory again. Okay, because they don't play it smart in the culture, man. They're not smart in the culture. All right. Unfortunately, Trump, unto himself, he makes smarter moves in the culture. Sometimes he sabotages his own things in the culture, but he makes smart moves in the culture. But his voters, they don't back him up. They cause him to trip over his own moves. Okay, and stuff like this, man, when you have these people who scoff at the systemic racism problem in America, when they scoff at it, it's like, dude, you're failing to understand what it is to be a Republican. The Republican Party was founded because of systemic racism. And Republicans really don't get that. They really don't. It's like it was founded because the Democrats were imposing systemic racism, white privilege, and white supremacy. That's what the Democrat Party was doing. Republican Party was founded to fight against Democrats on this. Republicans don't even care about that anymore. They're gone, right? But while you have these people, like Frontier Coffee Company, right off the bat, it's like, oh, we're going to dismiss Jamon Hansu's claims of systemic racism. Dude, when you see these people, when you see black folks, especially these black actors and stuff like that, let me give you a tip. If you see them talking about systemic racism, agree with them. Okay, I know it goes against your instincts. I know it's hard because you're resentful of this stuff now, and you're not even just resentful. These people aren't resentful of the behavior of it. They're getting to where they're just simply resentful of black people, just the way the Democrats wanted it.
Yep.
That's what a lot of these Republicans voted. They don't understand. They are falling into what Democrats are engineering. They're making it this way. They want you to resent black folks. Okay? And Republicans, it's like, Republican Party, they don't get it. They really don't. So when you see that when these people make these charges of systemic racism, be like, yeah, Jamon Hansu is complaining about racism that he sees in Hollywood. Let that sink in.
Yeah.
He's complaining of the racism he sees in Hollywood. But you'll have people like the Frontier Company, oh, whatever. Oh, it doesn't, it could be Frontier, it could be Breitbart, it could be flipping, what's that? All these right-wing news outlets.
Gateway
Pundit, all of them. They see a black person complaining about systemic racism, especially if they're actors or something like that or in Hollywood, and then he just starts scoffing at it. Oh, what? You complain about systemic racism. And I'm like, dude, it's Hollywood. Who is Hollywood run by? It's run by Democrats, ain't it? While you idiots sit there and scoff at systemic racism, you just gave them a pass.
Yep.
And you forfeited leverage that you have on beating them in the culture. You don't know who Democrats are. When you have these actors, black actors, that you want to scoff at and get mad because they bring up systemic racism, just shut up and just agree with them. Say, yeah, dude, you're right. Yeah, you don't even take that as a learning moment for them. You don't take that as an opportunity to say, hey, I noticed that you saw some systemic racism in there. Let's have a conversation, right? Because I totally agree with you. There is systemic racism in Hollywood because it's run by Democrats. Where do you think all this stuff, this racism, this institutionalized racism started? Who's been fighting to keep it that way? Democrats. They run Hollywood. So of course you see systemic racism. But Republicans be like, there's no systemic racism in America. You just need to grow up here. Right? This is why the Democrats beat you in the culture all the time. Right? And if you're not careful, once again, all the things that Trump has done is going to get yanked up from underneath you because most of the Republican Party doesn't have a clue on how to defend it. And they make sure that the stigma remains against them. All the evils that the Democrats have done, the ones who have taken the stigma for it is the Republican Party. Because they're just full of pride, just full of pride, man. And they just think that it's they don't have to do anything. They don't got to do nothing, yep. Right? They always talk about freedom isn't free, freedom isn't free. Right? Yeah, well, if freedom isn't free, that means it's going to cost you something. Sometimes maybe even some time.
Yeah.
Right? It's going to cost you something.
Something more than going to a documentary and watching Fox News.
Yeah. You're actually going to have to get active. And instead of finding some politician to idolize or something like that, you may actually have to do something. You may actually have to change your approach. But once again, I'm basically talking to a brick wall, man. Most Republicans ain't going to get that. They're just not going to understand. And you'll have people like that who are going to scoff at stuff like this, saying that there's no, it's like, dude, of course there's systemic racism. You know why? Because we got Democrats. Of course we have white privilege. Look around, look at what the Democrats have been able to get away with. Okay? Yeah, it doesn't matter if they're black, Mexican, or whichever. They don't do that without white Democrat control, y'all. It's white. Who do you think puts these people in their places? You think black folks just like Karen Bass? You think she was in there just because she's black and she just had the power to get in there? White Democrats got her in there. She's their puppet. Same thing with the oh my goodness, the guy running the FAA.
Oh yeah. Oh,
well, you think he just got? You think he did? No, he was positioned. He was handpicked by the Democrat Party to show black folks as ignorant and not deserving of such positions. And more importantly, to make Republicans resent them. That's what it's all about, y'all.
It's working so smoothly.
It's working great. Democrats are getting what Republicans, they don't even know. Democrats are getting what they want. They're getting what they want. I'm trying to tell you, man, the Democrats are the national Manson family. Okay? That's who they are. The Republicans don't get it. They don't get it. So very few do. I think here in the Zoloft, you get it. That's why you tune in here. Notice how few of you there are. All right? The vast majority of the Republican Party does not get it. They do not understand that they are led around by the Democrat Party. All right? They don't understand it.
It's kind of weird because Rush Limbaugh was really, really good at what you're saying. Getting those points across by, agreeing with them. Well, yeah, systemic racism is in Hollywood. Yeah, you're right. You see it all the time. Yeah. Democrats. Rush Limbaugh was I think he was really good at that, at the whole culture war thing. We were all raised on him, but most of the Republican Party just doesn't get.
Yeah, and unfortunately,
how he won the culture a little bit.
Yeah, and unfortunately, in his later years, even Rush Limbaugh was losing sight of that. Even Rush Limbaugh would scoff at systemic racism. He'd scoff at it. There's no systemic racism and white privilege and all that sort of stuff. And people go around, it's like, where's my white privilege, and all that sort of stuff. Dude, that's the wrong argument. You're not going to be able to compare strife. Okay, remember, y'all, the victim mentality is a competition. I mean, victim mentality is the flipping Olympics, man. Everybody's going to try to out-victim each other. Yeah. Because people, they see empowerment in being a victim. You understand? People see being a victim as being empowering. So you're not going to win on that, ever. You're never going to win on that. When white people try to say, well, I didn't get my privilege and I was poor and I was all that. Man, you're not going to win on that. You're not going to win on it. The way you go with it, it's like verbal judo. Okay? You're going to try to butt heads and try to muscle your way to, Nah, man, you have to be able to make them fall on their technique.
Yes.
That's how you got to do it. You got to be able to get them to see who their string pullers are, y'all. You got to do that. Instead of trying to make them see that you struggled too and all that, dude, no, man. That ain't going to work. Trying to compare struggles or try to relate you got to get them to see who their string pullers are. But Republicans don't do that. They don't try to show them who the string pullers are. They just scoff at them, basically what they tell them is that there are no string pullers.
Yep.
There's no systemic racism. Nobody's doing this to you. Right? All the while, the Democrat Party is just like, look at those Republicans. They don't even care. They don't even care about the systemic racism that you face. They don't even care about you. Right? That's all Democrats got to do. Look at those Republicans. They don't care about black people. They don't care if you die. Right? They don't care. Right? And Republicans just, and Democrats just like, yeah. And Republicans be thinking that, oh, they're waking up and they're seeing the light and they're going to be MAGA.
Yeah.
Okay. And how many, we've been going this for 100 years, y'all. Over 100 years. Whatever.
I think, unfortunately, when you make this argument, a lot of listeners and a lot of people that you know on Instagram and Twitter, it's the inclination is to think that you're saying that white men in America don't experience bigotry, and they think that you're saying that there's no racism against them. But that's not your argument. What you just said, to compare strife is ridiculous. It's not how you're going to win them over. If you want to win them over, if the Democrats haven't made you hate black people so much that you don't even care anymore. Right.
People just don't seem to understand, man, the Democrats are running this, y'all. They're running it. You know, it's one of the simple things that it is that Democrats are always talking about systemic racism. They're trying to throw it in our face, systemic racism. Who the crap runs everything? If there's all this systemic racism in America, who's running it? You are. You own and pretty much run everything. So, you know, but like I said, you know, you had Democrats, you know, would put things in place to stifle white folks too. Yeah, the struggle has hit everybody. But you need to understand the Democrats are dependent on black folks because Democrats see black folks as the most lowly. And if you look like, and you will seen as the most virtuous if you are seen standing with the most lowly. See, the Democrats, they keep a tight grip on the black community because with the black community, they use black community to shape policy for everything else. Right? That's how they gain sympathy votes, by using black folks. But but you're going to have white people trying to compare a struggle and say, well, I've struggled too and all that sort of stuff. And where's my white privilege? And it's like, dude, like I said, you're not going to win on that. Trying to compare. No. Like I said, you got to be able to show them who the string pullers are. Yeah. And Republicans have lost sight of who the string pullers are. Right? Now, their big arguments against Democrats is they're a bunch of communists. It's like, dude, you ain't going to win on that. Calling Democrats a communist is a public compliment.
Yeah, and I'm guilty of that.
Yeah, they take it as a compliment, and people in the culture they take it as fashionable, y'all. Yep. You're not going to win on that. As if being a Democrat isn't bad enough, you want to try to call them communists too, and there's no point in doing it. You're only helping them by calling them communists. You're not hurting them. All right. The only people that you convince, or can create a stigma against the Democrat Party by calling them communists is only people you saying that is preaching to the choir with other Republicans. Those who are voting towards the left, they don't care. They think it's cool. And you're just emboldening them to go ahead and get with the communist movement or socialist movement or whichever, this collectivist movement. Yeah, the left, they already love that, man. You ain't making no inroads with that. So, but, you know, for some reason, Republicans just keep on doing it. And it's like, dude, that's not what's working for you. The other thing that cracks me up is that, you know, Republicans be like, this is why you lost. This is why you lost. Republicans, they waving their finger at the Democrat Party. It's like, this is why you lost. This is why you lost. But they can't figure out why it is that they got America stolen from them from the past 4 years. They don't even know. Mm-hmm. They don't get it. All they can say is, well, the Democrats cheated. Of course they did. How were they able to do it so fast? You know how the Democrats were able to effectively cheat so well? Because Republicans helped them. And they haven't figured that out yet.
They literally did.
Yeah. The Republican Party literally helped the Democrat Party. Just totally brainwashed and under the spell of the Democrat Party and helped them do it.
Yeah, not only that, a lot of the counties in the different states, because it was a pandemic, they were changing all the voting rules, the Democrats. And you know how many Republicans just went along with it, allowing the Democrats to have all these mail-in ballots, because the Republicans didn't fight the fact that they were changing all the election rules.
Between that and the propaganda that the Democrats put out there, Republicans were just like right in line. Just Democrats be like, watch this. This is what we're going to make Republicans do. We're going to make them dance that dance. Watch. And they'll put it out there, and Republicans would do exactly what the Democrats anticipated them to do. Every time, and they still do it. And it's getting worse. Their response is even more steadfast in the wrong response. You know? So, yeah, it's a shame, man, you know, that Republicans, they really, most of the Republicans, they don't get it. And, you know, you say stuff like this, and it's like they only take it. You got a lot of white Republicans who take it as I'm being dismissive of the things they face. I'm not. Not at all. You know, I have no bias in terms of who struggles where. There's no good reason for people to be complaining about these struggles and whatnot. But at the same time, I know who's doing it. Right? I know who's doing it.
Yep.
And it is a real thing. And when I say that there's no excuse for it, what I mean is when you have Republicans who fail to realize what's going on, and when you got Democrats get to black folks like early. They're right on them, okay? Conditioning them basically from birth. Republicans just think it's so simple. It was like, how come black folks just don't see what's going on? Man, you don't understand the system because you don't believe in systemic racism. But there's a system to it, okay? It's going all the way back to the Negro Project. But the Democrats, they put that in place. So Margaret Sanger, they put that, it's a system to it. It's a science. And rather than Republicans actually trying to get in there and do the battle, you know, to get Democrats away from black folks, Republicans just act like it doesn't exist and scoff at it. So Democrats are there with that conditioning, like right there from the get-go. And Republicans, they don't really do a thing about it. Nothing. You know, freedom isn't free, remember? If you want to stop the Democrats from doing the damage that they're going to, and y'all trust me, they've already got something else worked up. They planned for some more stuff, okay? And they'll get away with doing it by making the Republicans look as evil as anything that they can do. That's how they've done it, right? You got to get Democrats away from black folks. That's the test. That's the thing to do. And Democrats, they got that stronghold, that conditioning just right on black folks. You got to be able to break through that. And you ain't going to break through with it by trying to compare struggles. That's not going to work. Yeah. You have to show black folks who the string pullers are. You have to show them with all the racism that it's like, dude, you guys keep talking about racism and all that sort of stuff. Where you guys live, man, is controlled by Democrats. Yep. Okay? It's like, yeah, I believe you. I totally believe you. And I want to fight along with you. Okay? I want to fight it. So one of the things you might want to stop doing is keep voting these people in. Why do you keep voting them in? Why do you keep voting in your oppressors? All that racism that you see, that's in your community. Republicans don't really do that. They just scoff at it. You know? They scoff at things like the prison industrial complex. Prison industrial complex is a real thing. Okay? And it's like, you know, just instead of acting like, well, you know, you black folks, you're just a bunch of criminals and stuff like that, and you need to obey the law. And it's like, dude, they're in a community where black folks are conditioned to be a certain way, to make sure that they end up in jail. And when they go to court, we got a lot of liberal Democrat activist judges, don't we? Yeah, but y'all want to act like systemic racism doesn't exist. We got legions and legions of liberal lawyers, don't we? A lot of them lawyers, the majority of them, vote Democrat, don't they? Yeah, right. But you want to act like systemic racism don't exist. Slavery hasn't stopped with them. They're still about it. Just find ways to do it. Okay? So you got them legions of Democrat lawyers putting black folks in jail in these Democrat-run municipalities with police out there on the beat. And the police are just a revenue-collecting arm for the Democrat Party as they pay them union dues. But you don't think there's no systemic racism? Yeah. Right? Oh, yes, it's a real thing. I ain't trying to make excuses for black folks. I don't need to. I don't need to make excuses for black folks. It's not in our DNA to be just messed up the way that we are. We're conditioned. Democrats running everything. Who you think is who keep black folks in these inner cities in these black communities, making them stoke their pride. It's like, we need to bring on black folks. It's like, yeah, Democrats, that's right. Yeah. Right? Keep them a manageable voting stock. And Republicans, all Republicans, you got a legion of shallow Republicans who don't get it and just scoff at it. That's why you're losing the culture.
Roland Jones says they're the invisible empire.
They are. That's right. Republicans call them the deep state now. Who do you think the deep state is? The deep state is the invisible empire.
Yep.
Republican, the Democrats, they have a really good track record of being able to switch things up, present things in a different way. It's all still the same means, right? But anyway.
Real quick, Jay Thompson says, never forget who the Democratic Party holds as their unspoken patron saint, Margaret Sanger. Mm-hmm. Never forget her dream. And Bruce says, in the letter she explained how to infiltrate the black church. Yes,
use the colored minister. These are her words. For the purpose of exterminating the black community.
That's just...
Right? And you're right, folks. She's a patron saint. Yeah. So like I said, man, y'all are a rare few who get this. Rare few. Unfortunately, most of the Republican Party is just given over to, they really don't understand. They don't really know their roots of what the Republican Party is. And that's even with Jamon Hansu. He's talking about I want blacks to get reintroduced to their roots. It's like, look, man. The problem with the black community is not being aware of their African roots. That is so not our problem. All right? It's so not our problem. Getting away from the word of God is the problem with the black community. Simple as that. I mean, if you want to take it to Africa, okay, then the thing that that black folks need to know about Africa is that these are where these laws that make for a good society come from. Now, it's funny because you got a lot of white right-wing voters out there who have so much pride in terms of you'll see some of them out there. Fortunately, it's not a lot of them. But, little things like, well, if it wasn't for, white people, black people would still be living in huts and stuff like that. And, white people discovered electricity and all. It's like, you didn't discover electricity, okay? Electricity is a naturally occurring phenomenon. Right. But, they have this idea that, other cultures didn't create anything, particularly like black folks didn't create nothing, and nothing good comes out of Africa. Africa is just this continent where only crap comes from. Okay. Meanwhile, the biggest thing that white, Republican voters are most afraid of, and the thing that they are just adamant, and they're right, adamant that it's destroying America and a threat to the whole world is communism and socialism, this collectivist model, right? Which has been primarily shaped and instituted by white folks. That is the thing they resent this. They have the most disdain for this. Socialism, communism, right? Stalin, Lenin, European style socialism. That comes from y'all. That's y'all. This thing that you're afraid of the most. And the ones pushing it the most here in America are white folks. You think communism and socialism is stupid, and you're absolutely right. It's the most stupid thing that you could impose on a society. Dumb. This collectivist model that assumes to do away with classes and stuff like that, and everybody, basically it's the equal sharing of misery. It's a dumb thing to do to people. And who is pushing it the most and who shaped it to spread it around the world? Well, that was white folks. That came off of their continent. All right. Now, look, man, I'm not one to be like comparing nationalities or anything. You know me, I don't roll that way. But I think it's just kind of ironic that you have people who think about stuff like this, like, well, the thing that you guys are most afraid of and the thing that you have the most disdain for is something that was and something that's really dumb. Well, that's white folks pushing that. And what's even worse than that is that you have these, white right-wing voters who think they've got such a lid on things. If you've got it so together and you're so brilliant, why are you having such a hard time fighting these stupid white people who are trying to push socialism and communistic ideas on us? Why are you having such a hard time with that? Shouldn't it be so much easier to sell freedom? Shouldn't it be so much easier to sell capitalism? Right? If you're so brilliant, right? Why are you having such a hard time with these people? Now, as far as the continent of Africa goes, the concept of capitalism came from there. Yeah. That's it. These other nations, okay, want this socialist and collectivist and communist idea. But capitalism, though, that model that y'all claim to love so much, that came from Africa, baby. Or not necessarily from Africa, but it came through Africa, right? The northern aspect of it, a little place called Egypt, Mount Sinai. It's called the Ten Commandments, okay? Ten Commandments is the basis of capitalism. So you can thank the African continent for that. And God himself chose the African continent to be like, you know what? This is going to be the place where I'm going to give these laws right here on Sinai in Egypt. So capitalism, I did capitalism. I'm all about it. Okay, I'm all about capitalism. And and capitalism is rooted in the Ten Commandments. And I'm all about it. Socialism and communism is totally at odds with the Ten Commandments. Total opposite. Doesn't fit at all. Capitalism does. So Africa is you could thank Africa for being this place where those things came from. That's not the boogeyman in the room. European socialism is that stuff that you're scared of. That's going to destroy our nation. Anyway, what else we got here? What do you guys think of that? Like I said, I just the whole race narrative is just dumb, dude. It's dumb. And I hold no resentment towards whites, blacks, or anyone in between. I know who the enemy is on this, and that's where my focus is trained. I know who's doing it, and they're not going to make me resent any particular nation or anything like that, and try to and cause division and sucker me into going along with their program. You're not going to get me, right? Because, well, I got the Lord.
Amen.
And the Lord is our filter. He's our foundation. So that brainwashing ain't gonna work on me. And unfortunately, it's worked on the majority of the Republican voters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sledge-O-Matic says if it wasn't for George Washington Carver, the Dixie South would still be a mud hole.
Peanut butter goes a long way, man. You can't be in a bad mood with some peanut butter.
This is true.
And there's different things that he did, man. It's like there's a reason why manufacturing facilities are called plants, as the story goes. But George Washington Carver, he was doing several things. Let's see what else we got here. Come on, articles.
The funny thing is I didn't know anything about Black history going to public schools all my life. Mm-hmm. Until you and I started to look into it. I mean, I learned some things from Rush Limbaugh, but I never learned anything other than black people were slaves.
Yeah,
That's
right.
what I learned in school.
That was what was in the textbooks, And yeah, we might have heard about, I think maybe in school, George Washington Carver, I think.
Nope,
I think
I
in
never
school.
did.
Yeah, I think we probably had to wait until Black History Month to find that stuff out. But like I said, in the 70s, and then in the early 80s, like I said, up until that point, it meant something. Okay, it really did. After that, it was just like, from there on, it was like participation trophies. All you had to do was be black, and you were entitled to to be, I don't know, memorialized or whichever, and you just respect us because we're black. It's like, no.
Like how Beyonce got the Grammy for a country album.
Yeah, right. And but I'm sorry, but forgive me for belaboring it. You guys get the point. Don't let the Democrats, There's an appreciation that was necessary at a time. Yeah. When you did have these laws, Democrats imposed these laws. You have black folks who broke through those laws. Those people deserve to be honored. Yeah. All right. Following that, it's like, look, man, we all Americans, dude. You don't have those kind of struggles All right. Let's see if my sound is back now. When did the sound go out?
Yes.
All right.
They're both back.
Okay. Dude,
Just a few seconds ago.
I touched nothing.
I know. I didn't either.
I touched nothing. But somehow my mic got muted here on Streamlabs. I don't know how that could have happened, but it got muted. I touched nothing. I didn't touch anything. Okay, but thank you guys for bearing with me. You guys are always so gracious as I go through these technical issues.
Bizarre.
Yes, bizarre technical issues. And but I hope what was it like? What was the last thing folks heard? Because I was saying some brilliant stuff, man. I was saying some heavy stuff. You know, and the devil don't like it. Cut me off.
Well, because they're playing with new AI chatbots. You were asking, do we need a war? Are these people bored at the Pentagon?
Okay, all right. So that's what I'm asking. Do we need if you got these people, connecting with DeepSeek? It's like, look, man, you're obviously maybe it's just too bored. Maybe you need a war. Maybe you need to be scared, man. Maybe you need to be scared that you're going to be deployed or something like that. Is that what's going on? Because, if you get too bored, idle hands is definitely the devil's playground. And you're going to have people, in these administrations and in these service, just to try to keep themselves entertained. They're either going to go on Chat GPT or, try to play video games or just start playing with themselves a lot. Play with themselves a lot in the military. I'm sorry. Okay. A lot of selfie action going on. You get bored. It's like, hey, what are you doing? You know what I'm doing. Just mind your own business. Go do the same thing. That's a good idea. I think I will. All right, so, need a war, man. You got to keep these people occupied. Idle hands, devil play around. I love y'all. I love my military personnel. But as it is, we got, people doing stuff like this. And let me see. Let's read a little bit more of it. We've got employees at the Pentagon hooking up government computers to Chinese servers to play around on the latest AI chatbot program. Could we be any less serious in our military? I don't know, man. I think seriousness kind of went out the door when they were paying for them to have surgeries to flip their gender around.
Yeah.
And giving them, was it paid leave?
Yes.
Paid leave while they recover.
I believe it was for over a year.
Woo! Oh, man, seriousness had gone out the door a long time ago, cuz. So let's see. But I mean, I think I appreciate the sarcasm. I get it. But I guess I'm agreeing with you. Yes, seriousness has kind of gone out for a little while. Let me see. It took at least 2 days before someone in the DOD, IT department, sorry, hey, maybe we shouldn't be giving Chinese potential backdoor access to the Pentagon. And that has, that's innuendo as far as I'm concerned. Backdoor access. Yeah, America's definitely getting screwed. All right, going in dry, cuz this is what's going on here. So Hegseth says that Hegseth has got his work cut out for with this crew, doesn't he? The Pentagon's IT experts are still determining the extent to which employees directly use DeepSeek's system through a web browser, the official said. Man, did they at least use, incognito mode or something like that? Or,
Doubt it.
Yeah, probably. U.S. military personnel started downloading an earlier release of DeepSeek code on their workstations in the fall of 2024. And y'all, okay, so listen. You gonna put this DeepSeek code. You gonna allow that, man. You shouldn't even download a strange email, man.
Right.
If there's a file that comes in an email, you don't want to download that, but you would purposely do this. And you understand that Elon Musk can't even break the algorithm. Whatever's in the code, man, he can't even crack it. But you would give access. You would let this is like some Trojan horse kind of stuff.
You meant at Twitter, not at the government.
Yeah, thank you. At Twitter, it's like even the algorithm. I mean, that thing is just in so deep. But you would lend yourself to something like this coming there, and you don't know what sort of Trojan horse they can send in through there. Am I using the wrong kind of language here? Hey, help me out, man. Straighten me out. I want to know. I'm asking. A lot of the stuff that I'm doing, I'm asking y'all. Y'all the smart.
The author asks a question too. He says, how does the Pentagon not know a site is connected to China until months after your employees begin accessing the site?
So it kind of like, it kind of messes with confidence in our military process,
Yeah.
And hopefully these will be things, and I appreciate that we're trying to correct these things now. But no, let me take that back, man. That's not the right thing for to say. I'm being inconsistent, y'all. I'm being inconsistent with my own narrative. This is not a failing. Okay, it's not a failing. This stuff is purposely done this way. And these people who are going on chat, y'all, they're either doing it because it's just flat out intentional, or these people are putting these assignments, man, and because they know that this is what their behavior will do. Okay, Democrats, they engineer these kind of things, man. They know how to position folks. You got a whole bunch of like Manchurian candidate types looking to sabotage us. And this may look as just as innocent, even though it's dumb, and even though it's self-sabotage, but just something that's innocent. We just wanted to go and check out Chat GPT, or DeepSeek. We just wanted to check it out. All the while, man, giving China access to things that we're doing. And the Biden administration, man, all this, the stuff that we see is stupid and failings, man, it's planned, y'all. Planned to undermine America. They are enemies, man. They are rebellious. They are what the Constitution calls rebellious. In trying in being saboteurs of our country. That's who they are. So unfortunately, we have stuff like this going on in the Pentagon.
In the Pentagon. In regards to the trans surgeries and getting over a year off of paid leave for your trans surgery in the military, Jay Thompson says, I got shot and got Motrin in a 3-day profile.
Because you're a man.
And then High Mileage Husband said, I got hit with shrapnel in my right eye and got Motrin and an eye patch.
Well, first up, man, thank you guys.
Yes, thank you guys.
For real,
wow.
Man. It's I hope that never comes off as cliche.
I know.
I hope that never comes out. I hope it's not something that's just oversaid to where it's just like it doesn't mean anything. But seriously, man, from us to you, thank you for what you have for what you've endured. In trying to help protect the republic, and basically human decency for wherever it was you were deployed to.
Yeah.
That's some God-sent stuff, man, and God bless you. Thank you for what you guys endured, and I know it's got to be, man, like a slap in the face that this is. It's like, hey, you guys get this. Talk about privilege.
Right.
And they're probably the same ones who talk about privilege and stuff like that, trying to admonish other people for privilege. But this is the privilege, and most likely these transsexuals they're most likely white.
Yeah. They usually are.
Yeah, they usually are. Right. Sorry to stereotype or anything like that. It's mainly because there's just more white people in America than there are black folks. Come on, it is a statistical thing. But it's like y'all want to talk about this white privilege and stuff like that, but y'all get to at the taxpayer's expense and going into the military, you can go ahead and take a break from your service, get a sex change and up to a year's worth of recovery leave. Come on, man. You want to talk about privilege? You hypocrite.
Yes.
Man, I'm so sorry for the slap in the face, man. Hopefully this stuff will be changed, man. We're gonna set a new tone. Yep. But listen, man, when we set this new tone, man, we gotta defend it. Good thing, the things are going in good order, man. They're going. It's like, okay, you get these things, man. We gotta keep it. Do the wise moves, man. Do the savvy moves that don't play into what Democrats be setting. These minefields that they putting out there, man. We got to traverse the field correctly, man, and get them to step on their own minds, man. That's what needs to go down. Let's see what else. We got, Black Box from Crash Aircraft reveals stunning discrepancy, possibly explaining tragic collision. Are you guys, did Trump get out? I didn't catch it. I only heard about it. Did Trump come out there and say, yeah, it was a tranny? That was a.
No, it seems like he. Do you say intimated that it could have been on purpose?
Yeah. Okay. So now, and believe me, y'all, I'm not chuckling about the situation.
Right.
A little chortle there. It's just the way he would present that sort of that's kind of funny to me. But the situation itself is not funny. And the logistics that they're coming out. Let me read a little bit of this here. This is coming from Trending Politics. Investigators analyzing the black box data from the recently crashed aircraft have covered a significant discrepancy that could provide crucial insight into the cause of the tragic collision. Initial findings from the investigation into the tragic collision between an American Airlines CRJ 700, so I guess that's going to be a regional jet, 700 a jet and commercial regional jet, I think. And I used to fuel those. Jet and U.S. Army Black Hawk helicopter near Washington, D.C., which claims 67 lives, indicate a significant altitude discrepancy at the time of the accident. According to the jet's flight recorder, it was flying at roughly 325 feet, while the control tower's data placed the helicopter at 200 feet. This 125-foot difference is now under scrutiny by the National Transportation Safety Board, NTSB, and they seek to understand its impact on the fatal incident. Investigators are delving into the conflicting altitude readings from the recent mid-air collision, exploring several potential causes. They examined whether there were errors in the reported altitudes, if the helicopter might have surpassed its maximum allowed altitude of 200 feet for its flight path, and the impact of the crew's use of night vision goggles. Okay, input, y'all, from a military perspective and from a commercial airline perspective. So I'm pretty much only familiar, and I kind of purposely don't read this stuff because I'd like to hear what you guys have to think about it. And as I trust you guys actually more than I trust the outlets. So I'd like for you guys to fill in some things if you would. I got questions. Like say for instance the regional jet. Was it outbound or inbound? Was it on final? Or was it taken off?
Yeah, if any of you guys know that, can you please put it in the chat because we were trying to find that.
With the helicopter, same thing with them. Now, I think it's kind of strange that so they started with this saying that there was a discrepancy in altitude. How did the discrepancy come in there? As the pilot communicates with the tower, and when you're going a certain direction, y'all, eastbound, westbound, or whichever, there's increments that you have to fly in, to make sure, it's like basically you don't want to be flying at the same direction at the same altitude. So these altitudes are set, to where in these increments to where east is going to be at a certain altitude and west is going to be a certain altitude, and whichever. So at a certain point, I reckon that the pilots, like say for instance, if you're going to go to an FBO or something like that, and they don't have a tower, the pilots communicate with each other. They go ahead and establish, this traffic order, this traffic pattern that they're going to go in, and and it's to have their takeoffs and their landings and whatnot. So in this right here, and it looked like it was in the evening time, And if you're going to be on final, well, you got to have your landing lights on. And you know, if you're able to see a plane, another plane or something like that, at the velocity that they're going, that plane is going to be on you pretty quick. All right, it don't take long. It's not like, you know, driving, man, where you see a car like way down there, and it's like, you know, even if you're going like, you know, 65, 70 miles an hour, when you see the car, you got some time, right? You know, but aircraft, man, you know, even if they're at a landing speed of like, you know, what, 120 or something like that, that 120 comes up on you pretty quick. You know, and if they're on takeoff, you know, 120, you know, gaining some altitude, it's, pushing 200 and things like that. You know, another, you know, flying vehicle, man, it comes up on you pretty quick. But but when you got the lights on, though, it looked like I saw the helicopter had its lights on. You see those lights out there for a little bit. I guess maybe the airline didn't try to make evasive maneuvers until it was like pretty much like right there. All that to say, you know, with this, and I guess the flight recorder wasn't recorded from the helicopter. Is that the situation?
No, it's waterlogged.
It's waterlogged.
It's
okay.
taking a while, a delay. They said it's delayed because it's waterlogged.
Okay, thank you. That and two of the other, was it the pilot? They're not claiming that the pilot has been deceased. The co-pilot is.
Yeah, there's only one pilot that has been. Let me pull up the headline here. Female Black Hawk helicopter pilot killed in DC crash, identified as former Biden White House aide. She's the only one who has been identified so far. The military still has everybody up in the air, basically. Nobody else has been classified as deceased because they need to complete the investigations. Okay. Mm.
So now, obviously it seems very strange. And the details, you know, sorry, I don't really have any groundbreaking details as far as that goes. I'm you know, wondering from you guys what the flight pattern was in the first place, because it's more interesting to me to find out from you than it is to find out from the news outlets.
Jay says the pilot had only 450 hours of flight time. That's roughly 18 days over a span of the pilot's 10-year career. Is that the trans pilot, Jay? Or is it another pilot in there? Or is that the one that they just found and they have declared her deceased? I'm wondering which pilot.
You know, even at 400 hours, I think you know, the traffic pattern should be pretty basic at this point. Landing is pretty much the hardest thing to do. You know, I remember, man, oh my goodness, you know, coming in for a landing, you know, Cessnas, it doesn't really look like it'd be a very heavy plane, but you know, if you don't have your velocity right and you come in, 5 feet makes a huge difference. I'm like 5 feet from the ground, man. And the wings just didn't, the air wasn't underneath the wings anymore. And that sucker just dropped like 5 feet, and you feel every ounce of it. So landing is not, but I think after 400 hours, landing should be, takeoff and landing should be pretty basic at that point. So for this person, all that to say, that makes it look even more strange. All right.
Yeah.
That you know, to be in the traffic pattern, and you botched this one.
Yeah.
I don't think you should have missed that.
Jay says she wasn't trans, she was lesbian. The crew chief and the pilot in command were identified. So they must have been identified today and declared deceased after we read the news. The one I'm talking about, everybody was saying she is trans. She's very open on, he is very open on Twitter. It's Chief Warrant Officer Joe Ellis. That's who I'm talking about.
So you're saying Joe Ellis was the pilot?
One of the pilots.
Okay.
I don't know how it works on a helicopter, if there's a pilot, and I think the other female that they found today was they're calling her a co-pilot.
Yeah, usually copters are two-seater.
Okay.
Unless it's gonna be one of them little skinny things like they have in like Road Warrior or whichever. Like, but anyway.
Those are scary. She was, okay, the crew chief and the pilot in command were identified. She was in training.
Okay.
Okay.
So that being, with those details, y'all, do you think that there was an agenda? I mean, when in my flights is, look, it's a strange thing, like, you know, when you're in the cockpit and you could see, even when you get to, you know, whatever your cruising altitude is for you. I don't think we did. I don't think I've flown higher than 14,000 feet. But it's one of those things where you see other planes, you know, like, you know, they're off to gain their altitude, and you're flying above it. So it's a weird thing to see like planes traveling underneath you, right? But the thing is, you can see them, and like I said, when you've got the lights on, and it wasn't like for where this helicopter was, from what I can see, it wasn't like you couldn't adjust your trajectory. And this definitely ain't like one of those situations where you want to play chicken. It's like, no, you move. It's like, no. And especially since you're a helicopter, you know, if you're a helicopter, man, you know, you're seeing this aircraft here. There really isn't any other aircraft that I could see that you may, you know, bump into in trying to get out of the way of this other one. I don't know if did this person, is there any reports of this person just losing control of the aircraft? You know, kind of like how them boats, you know, they lost control of them boats and they crashed into the bridge pillars and stuff like that. Once again, I take into consideration that, you know, when you're in an aircraft, when you see another aircraft, it's going to be on you pretty quick. But this right here, yeah, it looks kind of fishy. I don't want to be going along with conspiracy theories or anything like that, but that looks fishy.
Yeah. Yeah, Jay says it was Lorbach. Oh, what's her name? Rebecca Lorbach. That was the one we were just talking about. Not the trans person, Joe Ellis. This is the pilot, Rebecca Lorbach. She was a White House aide to Joe Biden in her career.
Yeah, that's not suspicious. All right.
I mean,
and then there was another, you know, had another flight crash.
yeah, there was that in Pennsylvania. I don't know much about that. It just sort of swept through the news. And then there's a third in Houston a couple days ago, yesterday or the day before. And yeah, they put this in the chat. I think Bruce did. I did read about that. That was in Houston, and I think it was before takeoff. The engine caught fire. Yeah, and Bruce says, strange how there were 3 incidents involving planes in 3 days. 2 crashes and now an engine on a plane in Houston burning. It is strange.
Yeah, because maintenance on aircraft is, because we've been having like several over the past 4 years. Definitely more, you know, issues with aircraft than it seems than usual. And you know, it's like, what's up, maintenance?
Between the maintenance problems and then in 2022, there was a long list of pilots just passing out and having strokes and heart issues.
So and then
flying the plane.
Right. Shortage of pilots, I think. Shortage of maintenance due to, you know, the mandates.
The jibby jab.
Yeah, and then you have air traffic control. You know, it's shorthanded as far as that goes.
Yep, they are.
Come on, y'all. That's designed. That's designed. You know, that's not like a failing. That stuff's on purpose.
Yeah.
Okay, what else we got here? Let's see. Elon Musk and DOGE granted access to Treasury payment systems, immediately discovered payments to terrorist groups. I reckon there's no surprise there. Treasury, isn't that just like a fancy word for IRS? Let's see. We got, let's read a little bit of this article here. This is coming from, where's this coming from? WLT report. All right. Yesterday, we brought you a report that the highest ranking career official at the Treasury Department resigned after refusing to give Elon Musk and DOGE access to the payment system. What is resigning supposed to do for this person? It's like, you know what that's like? That's like, you know, you want to take your parents' car for a spin. I just want to drive it, right? And then you like, you know, you crash into something, and then you jump out of the car and you start running. Anybody done that? I have.
Oh my.
Right? It's like I just want to take it for a little cruise or something like that, and then you just get out of the car, and you start running. Where you gonna go? But you just start running. And I've seen many people do that. I've seen many teenagers like do that.
How old were you?
I don't know. I probably, maybe 12.
Oh my goodness.
12 or something like that.
I'm very glad you survived.
Yeah, me too. The whooping.
Yeah, that too.
forget surviving the crash. Just survived the whooping. All right, so I don't even know if my mom knew what to do with herself with that one. Just like I don't even know if I got a whooping. I don't remember anything after that. Maybe I did. I don't remember anything. But at any rate, this right here is like, oh, I'm just going to resign. Where are you going to go? Because if this is the case, man, and this is like, you know, you funding terrorists, you know, with our money. Yeah. You know, if you're doing that, firing, I don't think firing should help you at all. You know, unless what you going to do, man? You going to try to run and go to another country, hoping to get like avoid being extradited or something like that. I'm going to go to one of them countries where they can't get me. Right? I denounce my American citizenship and I want to be here now. I want to be, I want asylum in another country. Is that what you're going to do? I don't know, man. Trump tends to be a heck of a deal maker. Somehow he might get you back anyway. He would. So let's read a little bit of this. From Elon Musk, from Elon himself, he just announced that after being granted access by Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, I hope I'm saying her name right, DOGE immediately discovered that officials in the Treasury were instructed to never deny a payment, even if it was known to be fraudulent or to a terrorist group. Who instituted that? Okay. Who made that policy?
God knows. It's probably been like that for decades. It really probably has.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that. So let's see. I guess that's, people need to go, okay, that's it for the article. So, yeah, this is definitely, this is some treason kind of stuff.
Yes.
And yeah, so this person resigning. So that's basically Elon's job, right? It's like I go through these things and I'm going to comb through them and look at what's being wasted. And it's like, man, we don't need this. This ain't the kind of stuff we're supposed to be spending money on.
Yep. And
and this person, and anybody else, I guess, who had this position, going back, if you're still alive, yeah, I reckon you need to go to jail too if you knew about this stuff.
Yeah, because the head Treasury officer resigned rather than give Elon Musk what he was asking for. And there's other officers there, and all they do is rubber stamp. Mm-hmm. They just sign everything. They never, ever, nothing has ever been denied for payment. Nothing.
All the more reason why the IRS needs to go.
Yep.
Yeah, it's the total talk about it's already an abuse of this mode of taxes and this agency that makes sure that this taxation is enforced. That's already an abuse. But then y'all turn around and do this too, which is no surprise, because understand, folks, when you have when you have this agency that is going to enforce this kind of taxation is already crooked. You know, I don't go with the general term of taxation is theft. Taxation generally is not theft. There are forms of taxation that are definitely theft. Income tax is definitely theft. Property taxes, capital gains. Dems are just institutions of theft. All right, we have a tax model that is right. And you know, like when doing these things like putting in tariffs, that's right. That's constitutionally correct. And you know, and it's weird when you have, you know, these liberals in these places, other countries, trying to make like tariffs are like evil, and that they don't work. And it's like, well, tariffs are bad, and you know, and if they don't work, why are you imposing tariffs as a retaliation? why would you do that? Aren't you sabotaging yourself if you do that? if tariffs, if we're doing ourselves dirty by putting in tariffs, why would you respond in kind? Is it worth it for you to do yourself dirty just so you can get back at us? That's dumb.
Right?
Anyway, don't we have an article? Are we going to be talking about tariffs in here?
Yes.
Yeah, let's
Canada and Mexico.
blame Canada. Let's see. Yeah, here we go. Okay, so you don't like the red states, so that's your countermeasure. Go do a little boycott and stuff right there. I don't think that's gonna work out good for you.
Only the liquor, though, right?
Yeah, the liquor, right? So, yeah, like I said, it's kind of strange that you guys would make like, you know, tariffs are these bad things, but you're gonna impose a tariff countermeasure. Okay, that whatever.
This is British Columbia's premier, who is
Gay.
yes, he certainly seems like it. Held a press conference saying that he instructed the province to halt the purchase of American liquor from red states.
All right. The irony is that you've got this collectivist over here, and you know these collectivists over there, who are acting like this tax is so bad, it's so evil, but y'all are all about taxing people.
Yeah.
Look, you're all about an institution that taxes people, that violates their right to property. Like, I don't volunteer for this. We don't volunteer to be taxed, you know, but people vote in representatives who put in this kind of policy, who enforce this kind of policy. So you're okay with those kind of taxes, these illegal taxes, but you're not okay with tariffs. So, you know, like a tariff, man, look, if you're going to volunteer, you're going to conduct trades between nations and stuff like that, man. It's a voluntary thing. It's like, look, man, we want, you know, to do some import export stuff with you. Okay, well, those things have to be, there's orders that you have to follow, the customs, man, and security about doing those things. That stuff costs, man. You know, you want the free will to be able to do those sort of things. Well, there has to be infrastructure in place to do those things and to be able to conduct them. That's fair, man. That's where the government's supposed to get a cut. We pay the government for those things. That's understandable. All right. Taxing people for earning a living. That's the fruits of their labor, man. That's their property. That belongs to them. All right. You're not supposed to tax that, and you don't need to. We got plenty of taxes for the government to operate within its scope. A taxation model that facilitates all that. Right? So, but these people, they want this, you know, want to get into a tariff war with us. That's not it. And I'm quite sure that Trump has contingencies in place. He's already showing that he has. Already, man, these people already go. It's like, okay, never mind, Uncle. Yep. It's like, you know, you had to understand that Trump was going to have, and we knew. It's like, dude, I'm pretty sure Trump's got leverage in order to enforce, you know, and maintain his position on putting in these tariffs. What was was trying to remember, and I can't at the moment. Sometimes my memory just sucks. In the meantime, maybe it'll come back to me and I'll try to remember. But I know that Mexico caved. I guess Canada caved.
Yep.
In terms of, it's like really quick. Yeah, okay. Well, but no, that's what it was. This 30-day pause. It's like, it kind of looks like Trump going soft. He's not. It's like, look, man. Because here's the thing. Tariffs, you want to impose the tariffs, but it's like, look, if we can get your cooperation, all right, we got this border issue, and we got this fentanyl issue. Look, we'll go ahead and suspend the tariffs, 30 days, all right? Let's get some support, man. Let's get some manpower on these borders, because tariffs, they're helpful to a degree, but right now, this fentanyl issue is pretty dang advanced, and it's worth it to go ahead and forego the tariffs for about 30 days, just so we can get some personnel.
Yeah.
Stop this stuff. These cartels from doing what it is they're doing, and this infiltration of this fentanyl that's just people getting a hold of, and killing themselves with it. So I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. Just make sure it's 30 days up. Put the tariffs back in place.
Yeah.
Let's see. Panama president ends Canal deal with China after meeting with Marco Rubio. What's Marco Rubio starting? Is he working on proving his salt?
Yeah, he better.
All right. You better. You better. All right. So this is from 100% Fed Up. Come on. Getting fed up with how slow you acted. There you go. Scroll. Okay. After meeting with Secretary of State Marco Rubio, the president of Panama, had just agreed to end a key Panama Canal deal with China. President Jose Raul Mulino, you like the way I rolled them R's? Pretty good, huh? Announced today that Panama will not renew their contracts with China from 2017, which are part of a CCP development initiative. Take a look. Let's see, I see a bunch of tweets. This is coming from, Benny Johnson. Panama's president has ended the country's Panama Canal deal with China immediately following a meeting with U.S. Senator. Okay, well, we read that already.
The rest of the article is pretty redundant.
Yeah. Panama's president vowed Sunday to end a key development deal with China after, better be careful, China don't send some ninjas after you. Actually, they're trying to be the Lin Kuei. Lin Kuei coming there, assassination team. After meeting with Secretary of State Marco Rubio, and after complaints from President Donald Trump that the Latin American country had ceded control over its critical shipping canal to Beijing, Jose Raul Mulino, Panama's president, said his nation's sovereignty over the 51-mile waterway, which connects, man, I remember the Panama thing, man, I remember that from back in the 70s. Panama, going back way.
I remember it from the 80s.
Mm-hmm. Panama's president said his nation's sovereignty, I think it was the 70s, yeah, I think I remember from there, over the 51-mile waterway, which connects the Pacific Ocean and the Caribbean Sea, will remain unchanged. But he said he will not renew a 2017 memorandum of understanding to join China's Belt and Road Global Development Initiative, and that Panama would instead look to work more closely with the U.S., all right? I think this visit opens the door to build new relations and try to increase as much as possible U.S. investments in Panama, Molina told reporters after meeting with Rubio on the first international trip since being confirmed. All right, there you go, man. It's like it'll be one of those things where we don't have to see where we don't have to hear liberals, talking about you're drilling and you're doing these and your commercialism and all that sort of stuff,
right,
and complaining about us while we got them sea derricks out there. They're drilling out in the ocean off our seacoast and stuff like that. How come you guys don't get mad at China for being out there drilling and stuff like that and doing what they do, like running commerce, as far as Panama and stuff like that is them. They can do that, but us, it's evil, it's bad.
Right. Yeah.
Maybe we're breaking through that, so that we're gonna bust all that stuff down, man. So let's see what else we got here. Yeah, there we go. We'll go out on this one. Kanye. Yee yee. Sound like Jerry Lewis. Yee yee. His wife shocks onlookers. Shows up to Grammy red carpet, completely nude. Well, she wasn't completely nude. She was just basically wearing some pantyhose high up. She's like, she just took some pantyhose and like, I don't know, either stretched them over her head or stretched them and like cut out a hole in it. Pantyhose. They got kicked out. All right.
They weren't invited, from what I heard.
Yeah. Yeah, it's party crashers. So first, when I caught wind of the article, I guess I was already disappointed, but at the same time, I was like, oh, well. And I was disappointed because you had, especially like, the right, right wingers, and Republican voters, calling out Kanye, like talking about how shameful this is and whatnot. But it's like you guys are showing the video. You're showing the video of this woman who's basically nude. You can see everything. You can see it well enough to know that. Yeah, you can see it well enough to know that she's shorn.
That's enough.
And
flying wife shoe.
Pow! Pow, 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 pow! Like get my head going like Max Bedroom. Right? Look. You didn't have to look that long, okay? It's like you scroll up and say, oh my goodness. All right. But here's the thing. That kind of stuff, man, where you're gonna like, oh, this is awful and this is, it's like, okay, well, you make it a stumbling block to people if you go ahead and you actually show the video. All right? Take that thing and put some pixelation over it. So we get the point, man. We're not dumb. All right? If you say she's nude, we believe you. All right? But I was like, how do you make that call though, man? Because it's one of those things where it's like, if you're gonna do that to the video, that means that you got to be able to see it, you got to be able to look at it, to go ahead and make the whatever blurred out or stuff like that. And it's like, well, who made you, authority on being able to see the video and that nobody else should be able to see? So the video is gonna be but at the first I was just like, look, man, this is, this kind of stuff contributes to a decline of a culture where you're going to put this out there and let everybody see it, and all that sort of stuff. I mean, people going to see it and say, but don't make it easy for them. You don't have to make it easy for them. But at any rate, but at the same time, you got to make it believable. People may not believe it. It's like, oh, you're just saying because you don't like Kanye or whichever, and you don't like his wife, and you're just making up stuff, that she came nude and whichever. And I guess there just has to be the evidence. Okay, I get that. But it's unfortunate though, man, because this kind of stuff, it is a stumbling block in our culture. For Kanye, man, this is man, whether she's good with it or not, dude, you're exploiting your wife, man. You're objectifying this woman. A man just doesn't do that. Well, a godly man at least. And I know that a whole bunch of even right-wing voters, they were embracing Kanye as a Christian. He's a Christian. They didn't care if he was a Christian. All they cared about was that he was like MAGA, right? Exactly. That's what they cared about. It's like yes, he's pro-Trump. And nobody should judge him about his Christianity or anything. And you got a whole bunch of weenie so-called Christians out there. Said, don't judge. Paul is like he's like, dude, call out posers. By name. Call them out. Right? That's what Paul says. That's what the Word of God says. The Word of God says, call them out. All right? You got to have the balance of like, look, man, if people, you call out people for being posers, but it's not like you stop them because Jesus is like, look, man, make my name known. Okay? Don't stop people from getting out there and proclaiming me. Don't stop people from doing that. But call out the posers though. Call out that behavior. But don't stop people from making my name famous. All right? Because people need to know my name and they have a responsibility to find out who I am. All right? So, but Kanye, who's supposed to be, and unfortunately, I'm seen as the grifter. Kanye's embraced as a Christian, but me, it was you have to understand that, Kanye's, he's a celebrity. And it's like, so you have people like Candace Owens out there. Who cares what these celebrities? She loves that applause line, right? Who cares? Like anybody cares what these celebrities say? She's palling around with Kanye. right? Basically giving him the nod that, okay, he should be embraced.
Yeah.
Okay, but nobody cares. So what if Kanye is like a billionaire and he's missing something like that? We have to understand, Zoe. You're not going to be seen. Kanye will be seen because he's famous. So what? I thought nobody cared what he thought. You don't have to be a big celebrity. I tried to warn you about this kind of stuff. Whatever. But no, they like Kanye because, hey, Kanye was cool with them because, hey, he had his fashion brand of the Confederate flag. Don't forget, hey, he's all right with us. And and the MAGA hat. So unfortunately, Kanye was embraced for the wrong reasons. Tried to say, like, dude, he's fake, man. He's a fake. He's just an attention seeker. But this right here, man, the Kanye having this woman that he's basically carved to look like Kim Kardashian, and just running around and exploiting this woman, man. And it's hey, Kanye really needs Jesus. All right, we all do. We all need him. And I'm praying.
He says he's Jesus.
Yeah, there's that, and the word of God, and Jesus told us is that there are gonna be people doing that. Yes. We know the difference. All right, Kanye, that's not a good sell. I don't recall Jesus, in the Word of God, parading women around naked. He didn't do stuff like that. But this woman, man, just to see her, she's kind of like dead behind the eyes, man. And whatever, Kanye, this ain't a good look for you, man. Like I said, to basically you took a woman and that obviously you idolize Kim Kardashian.
True.
You idolize her. You never loved her, but you do idolize her. You may have had deep infatuation or deep affection and stuff like that, but love is not something that y'all had. And in your obsession, in your idolatry of Kim Kardashian, you have carved an idol. You've made a slave out of this woman. You've robbed, unfortunately, this woman has let you rob her of her life.
Yeah.
You took it's still theft as far as I'm concerned, even if she allowed you to do it. You took advantage of her permission, if you will, and basically carved her up.
Yeah.
To look like someone else.
Yeah. You're saying that, and you literally mean that. As I remember, after he got divorced, she was his assistant. Then I saw them on TV, and this woman looks nothing like Bianca. Looks nothing like herself. She had life in her eyes. She was kind of, smiley and just completely different from this husk of a human being that is walking around with him now, naked.
Yeah. So it's obviously Kanye is beyond reason. This is definitely not a reasonable thing to do. Yeah. It's not reasonable for this woman to allow herself to be subjected to it. Right. They need the Lord. I pray in Yeshua's name that y'all receives the Lord's peace and truth.
Yes.
And unfortunately, there will be people that just don't. They just refuse to. Of course, that's why we have demons, because they're angels that, they look right at the truth and be like, you know what, we want our own truth, right? And that's why we have these rebellious, angels, Lucifer included,
right?
Or now Satan, and unfortunately, you're gonna have people do the same thing. But hey, we try, man. Just let them know, that's we're asking in Yeshua's name that, Kanye, knock it off with this, man. Liberate this woman. Lead her to the Lord, or I hope that she gets it and it's like, you know what, because that's what the wife is supposed to do, be a godly wife.
Yes.
And lead your husband to the Lord, and you, Kanye, you're supposed to be the priest of your household in order of Yeshua, and you're definitely not doing that. Hope you will.
Sledge-O-Matic says, I was cautiously optimistic, but 100% not surprised when he outed himself as a poser. I think you're one of the only Republicans that I've seen, and I interact with a lot of Republicans when he was coming out all for MAGA and all for Trump. everybody was just obsessed with him and just, just talking about how great he was. And you and I, like Sledge-O-Matic here, were cautiously optimistic, but
Yeah.
it's like, no. But here we go. Okay, he's a MAGA guy. He's a Republican. And that's what he does with his wife. So big tent Republicanism. Gotta love it. Trump's president, so this kind of thing is just fine, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that will be definitely doing the party a disservice, do it. And like we maintain a sense of optimism. Like, look, man, I hope you do.
Yes.
I hope it's the real deal. But hey, the Lord himself vets, right? It's gonna be a vetting process.
Mr. Odors. Mr. Odors, that's a great name. Next music video when?
Ooh, man, I hope I can do that soon. I haven't even started recording music for some Sledge covers, and I'm itching to, man. And thank you so much for asking. It really means a lot for folks to, remember that I try to be a musician. The things that I've been concentrating on the most is I have my workshop, but I really want to get a control room. I want to make sure, because if you guys can probably hear in my voice, there's a lot of reflectivity in the room. So it's at this point right now, it's not ideal for recording music. I can. It's just, you got to kind of work a little bit harder at it and things to filter out. I really want to be able to have, a room that's, more acoustically set, because I could record now and it wouldn't be a bad thing. It'll just really have that kind of John Bonham, really washiness to it if I want to incorporate, how I would, mic my drums and stuff. But I really want to get more isolation and have more control over. I want to be able to have the reflectivity of this room and put a mic out here, while and catch, my drum and cymbal tones, and but at the same time have my drums, in a room isolated where I can have more control over a dry tone. So I want to be able to do that, and with guitars, same thing, lots of reflectivity in here. I want to be able to get just I want to be able to have more control and more discretion on what, the mics pick up, as opposed to, a more ambient noise. And even stuff like that, man, it can be great depending on the song that you're working on.
Yeah.
It can have a lot of effect on that. But before I even do that room, I need to get my Zoloft set built. I got the Zopium Den set built. I got to get the Zoloft set built. Just trying to, do some recovery on the budget. And once again, let me explain, because people are like, hey man, didn't we hook you up with a budget to get that stuff, to get the camera and get your equipment or get the materials to build your sets? Yes, you did. That was when I didn't know that I was going to be moving. We were like, man, we can't uphold this any longer. Let's just go ahead and get this fundraiser going. We're just gonna have to build my set where we were, and where we were, it's like it had, 8-foot, ceilings, and, it was a smaller place. And it's like, I can't hold up this production anymore, man. I want to go ahead and get to it. I don't know if we're going to get the place because it was going on for a little bit, and we didn't know if we were going to be able to get where we were going on.
Yeah.
And it's like, we got to get moving. Well, praise be to God, we're here. And we got much more space. That's why the budget got increased. Like, look, I'm gonna build the set the way it needs to be built. I need to build it as high as I need to build it. I want to build it as wide as I need to build it. And that's why, the budget increased a little bit. So I still got the other set to build, and I got to recover. I got to pay down, the credit card for what I paid to build the materials and stuff that I did for this one, and then I'll start on the next one. So prayers appreciated that I will be able to, get these funds going and crank these things out. All that to say, when I get that done, I'll get back into, I want to get back into doing the music.
Yeah. And 99 Sketchy Thought, who educated us on the uncut syrup problem that's happening over the border into Minnesota from Canada. Mm-hmm. Shame. He has a question. I want to say, Sketchy, we're going to ask this question tomorrow night in the Zopium Den because it's more appropriate for there.
Okay.
And, we're running out of time here. It says, does the Bible describe heaven? So we'll tackle that tomorrow night.
I
You want to tackle it so bad right now.
I've asked that same question, and of course I've had to, but yes, interesting question. Yes, let's talk about it. All right, thank you guys so much, y'all. BronzeSerpentMedia.com. I hope you guys will become, if you're not a member there, okay. I see it on Instagram. Let me say thanks on the Instagram. Aspect Photography. Thank you for the kind words, man. Great to see you. So thanks for the great words. Thank you. Tim O'Keefe joined in. Huberson, DB, Loop 101, 31 Film Buff, Aspect Photography. So thank you guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. Wells, 4682, 3 kids and a zoo. Skill 63. Shannon Reeves. All right, and I think I've shouted you guys out already. Thank you guys. So AD McCullough, I don't remember this. Okay, Nanir 25, Seema Pulling, Johnny Wayne Lancaster. Okay, I got you already, man. Right on. Thank you guys for tuning in. BronzeSerpentMedia.com. Hope you guys will come there and become a member. It's free. Won't cost you a dime. Just a couple clicks of your time. And drop that buck in the bucket if you want to help keep your bro Zoe on the go. All right, y'all. Thank you guys so much. You guys have a groovy rest of your evening, and we'll do it again soon. Bye. That ain't the right one.